Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Thursday afternoon, September 17th. And we are looking at the market profile of the SPY ETF here on Window Trader. Very interesting day. Excellent day. Excellent day in the trading room for, I think, just about everybody in there. We called the market very well. I made money only on shorts all day, but we had people make money on longs, and we'll get to that in a moment because this day afforded everybody the opportunity to be right on longs and to be right on shorts, and we'll get to that in a minute. We had a gap that held, that started at over 500 points. It held, but it's only 82 ticks now. We tested the 50-day moving average again today, twice today. We have a poor low today. So the way we stretched the balance high yesterday, did we get close enough to the balance low today? Still remains to be seen, right? We got to within $2 of that 331 balance low. I don't like the fact that we keep testing the 50-day moving average. Again, it's like that chicken that pecks you to death that you've heard me talk about on here. Eventually, you get more and more acceptance and you go through it. So maybe we really haven't tested the balance low yet. But that remains to be seen. So let me get to my trades. What happened today? So I took 7 trades today. They were all shorts. Okay? 6 of them made money. 1 basically broke even. I missed a huge short, and I missed 2 small longs. So let's go over it. So A period opened, and I said, well, I'm going to wait. I'm certainly going to wait to see if there's some kind of inventory adjustment. It's just too big a gap. I don't want to be a buyer down here, but I certainly don't want to be a seller. So we opened, and we went up pretty good, right? We had a nice range in A. And in fact, when we got kind of close to around A's high at the time, which was around the high, I took a short. And again, I played tomorrow's expirations, and any short I took was, actually I took the 330. I wrote 336. Wow, I took a 336 put. I thought I was going to take the 338s. But I did take the 336 puts on the first trade. I know why. Because we got up to around 335 and change. I thought they stretched it initially too soon. We'll back off a little bit. And they did. Okay? Then B period opens. Rips right above A. Comes in a little bit and rips. Now, why did I short the whole way up rather than long? Well, for a couple of reasons. Number 1, we have lower value. Number 2, we still have a gap. And number 3, it's context where you short. Just like it's context where you go long. Even though we one time framed up, if you bought at any time frames high, you initially got hurt pretty good. Same thing if you shorted at each time frame's low. Well, I didn't do that. So when B really popped to around the 336.5 level, again, I said, we're getting stretched out here. I said, we're going to have a huge set of single prints with the indices down pretty good. I said, I was very skeptical on that. So I took a 338 put. Decent size. Came in. Right? Now, did we have single prints? Briefly. C opened. Again, I took a short. I didn't think single prints were going to hold. They didn't. So 3 shorts, A, B, and C. 336, 338s, and 338s. So anybody who bought with good entries made money on the long, and anybody who shorted with good entries made good money. So now I did it in D, but I didn't do it in D at all with the same size because now things are starting to change a little bit, right? I'm like, well, you know what? Yeah, we still have the gap, but we're getting closer to filling that gap. And these algorithms are heat-seeking missiles. You hear me tell you that. They have to search for something. They're just short-term algos that have to search for something. Get programmed. Well, the next thing they're programmed to is yesterday's low. So although I did take one more put play, it was a small one. Only I took a 10 lot, and I made money on it. It came in. So here, and we had a big discussion in the room, and that's why this room that we run, the questions that are asked are amazing. The depth we get into explaining how the profile paints a picture and what works and why it works. So I had told the trader in the room, yes, I definitely took a smaller one up here because things were starting to change. I didn't like the fact that we were getting close to that gap. Now, a lot of times they'll fill the gap, and that's all they want. Well, if that had happened, then I'd have no problem taking a short again, say, at the gap. Because remember, if they filled the gap, you have the price probe. And then if they really ran it, you have the price spike to lean against. So, again, I only took a small one. But here is where the smart and the big trade took place for me. Not the smart trade. I take that back because these are all smart trades the way I did them. These are considered innovative plays because we're one-time framing up. But I just explained the context as to why I took them and where I took them, so the risk-reward is a lot less. Now, E period. E period opens up, comes down, takes out D's low by a tick. I take a 20-put contract, nothing big. I'm like, I think we're going to break the one-time framing up. Well, it goes against me initially because that's an innovative play too. But see, remember I said you don't want to be shorting at the bottom of the time frame? Well, I did short. That first 20 was literally at around D's low. But something I think had changed, and I didn't think because we left the excess we left in D, right? I thought there was a chance we were going to at least pause here. So when E ran back up, I bought 100 more puts. And I'm telling you, as soon as I bought the other 100, we came down, took out D's low, and boom. And it was by far my best trade of the day. And all that was after short covering that started this move, you get longs piling in. And I said to the room in D period, not in E, in D, I said, if these longs at B, C, and D's highs don't get what they're looking for, and we know what they're looking for, I can't paint this picture any simpler. They're looking for a gap fill. If they don't get what they're looking for sooner rather than later, what are they going to do? They're going to give it up. And that's why I took that put play. And it worked out like a charm. So then what happens? Okay, now, again, my patience level stinks because look how much more we went down, right? I always say they can move these things pretty damn good. I still need patience, but believe me, I had a great trade there. F pushes down, makes a new low, comes right back in. Okay, G starts. Now, here's one of the longs I was looking for, didn't take, which would have worked. I was looking for G to take out F's low, but come back into the day's range. Didn't happen, didn't take it. G never took it out, and it went basically up pretty good. So that's one, I'll consider that a miss. And then what did the market do? It did the same exact thing it did in A, B, C, and D. Now, G balanced, H stops the one-time framing down, I goes high, J goes high. So now I'm like, I don't want to be long. I'm looking for the afternoon rally high. I didn't know when it was. Now, another thing we discussed in the room, for each time frame, you could have taken a small short against the other one's high. So like in I, when I opened, it didn't take out H's high yet. You could have made some money initially, and the same in J. But I didn't do any of those, and I actually didn't do anything up here. So I didn't like the fact, I thought we would lower POC. Now we did, but we didn't lower it to K period. When J went back up and basically got to where POC was, that was a little nuance. I like, well, maybe we can go high, and maybe the afternoon rally high might get to D's low. So I didn't want to be too early. I had a great day so far. I don't want to give it back shorting here and it runs up to D's low. So I didn't do anything. No harm, no foul. It's the money you keep, not the money you make. So, obviously that was at the time the afternoon rally high. M put that to bed with its crazy shenanigans. So we don't have an afternoon rally high. So obviously J comes in, K comes in, L comes in. Now again, I'm looking. Here's the other long I wanted to take. We have a poor low. We have a $5 range or whatever the heck it is, and we have a poor low. I thought for sure we would test below F, and then again I would look for a long. Well, again, that didn't happen, so I missed the long play because it never took it out and it went back up. I actually shorted it small against K's high. I'm like, well, let's see if we're going to come back. Ended up breaking even on it. I made some on some of the contracts, and then when it took out K's high, I got out. So I basically broke even. I lost pennies on it. And then in M period, I took one short that worked out first. We got above L at the time. It was right around value high. I took it. It came back in, back down to POC. It was a nice trade. It wasn't even that many. It was 10, and I added 10, but it came all the way back down, made nice money on it. And then that was it, as they did what they wanted to do late in the time frame. But do you see how context is so important in trading, and how things and why? Look, so I bet you somebody made money all day being long, here and here. Well, I made money being short all day. This gave us the opportunity for that. All right, let's go over destinations for tomorrow. And by the way, we had an outside day down yesterday, which gapped lower today, in the SPY anyway. Now, very, very important point. SPY is ex-dividend tonight. Right now, they have us closing at 335.84. The ex-dividend's $1.36. So if that's our official close, and it usually changes around 420, but if that's the official close, well, $1.34 would put us at 334.50. So we're going to be, settlement is going to be right around 334.50 tomorrow morning. Okay? So it's going to be above the poor low, obviously. Actually, it's going to be just about exactly at K's high, which is the POC. K's high is 334.50. So our settlement's going to be right around here. Very interesting. All right. Destinations for tomorrow. Upside. Right now, the first one is today's high of 337.70. And then fill in the gap at 338.52. 82-point gap. Then we have the price probe of 339.26. The price spike of 340.31. And then 10 wide of 341.12. And then 343.06, which will be the weekly high if we do not take it out tomorrow. For the downside, we have today's low of 332.99. So we close our first destination on the downside. Oh, no, it's not. I absolutely lost my mind. I didn't write in the POC. I apologize. Our first downside destination is K's high of 334.50. Okay, 334.50. Which is 9 wide. Then it's today's low of 332.99, which is a poor low. And then the weekly low of 331 and balance low. And then filling the gap at 300.06, a 94-point gap from August 5th. And then on the charts. And again, I know this video is long, but man, I hope you guys and gals learn from it. I think it's such valuable information, and it's free for now. Monthly, one-time framing up 5 months. We're below, well, not well, we're $4 below, or $3.50 below February's high. We'll see if we get above it. Weekly, balance. We have not taken out last week's low, so that's very impressive. After today's start, I thought there was a chance for it. Right now, it's a 4-week balance. Okay? And daily, this is the one that still has a little concern. First of all, the close made this candle look a lot nicer. Boy, did it look ugly this morning. It was one wick and then all the way down to the 50. 8-day balance. Last Friday's the low. Yesterday's the high. We've defended the 50-day moving average. 2 days now out of this balance. Can we get any more mechanical than this market? Poor low today, defending the 50. So we know who our competition is. We know. If we do defend it, well then, if we fill this gap, guess what? Your next destination eventually will be the top of the balance again. So if they fill this gap, that's what I would look for eventually. If they don't fill the gap, then I would expect us to come down, and maybe the third time would be the charm, and we would get through the 50 and take out the balance low. Can't paint it any clearer than that, young ladies and gentlemen. Hope you had a great day. Have a great night, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.